Imagine this: you're standing on the very edge of an endless cliff, and someone invisible, yet terrifyingly strong, is slowly pushing you from behind. In a split second, your cold, calculating mind explodes with a cry, "Grab the rocks, do something, survive." But at that very same moment, your emotions whisper in a quiet, hypnotic whisper, "Just let go." This fall is your only chance to finally feel truly alive. You're plummeting, torn apart by this fierce internal war, and this short flight encompasses your entire life. You firmly believe that you are a rational, sovereign being, making only balanced and logical decisions. You sincerely believe that your logic is your impenetrable armor, and that feelings are merely temporary, annoying interruptions in the functioning of your flawless mechanism. But I'm here today to tell you the bitter truth: everything you've known about your choice up until this point is a clever, multi-layered lie. Your brain never seeks objective truth. It only seeks convenient justifications for your darkest, most hidden, and sometimes shameful impulses. Do you really think you chose this particular partner because they match your status or values? Do you seriously believe you stayed in this grueling job because it logically makes sense? Look around. You're simply a hostage to an endless biochemical storm that you mistakenly and habitually call your common sense. For decades, we've been taught that logic is light and order, while emotions are chaos and darkness. This is the greatest, fatal systemic error in our thinking. In fact, your logic is nothing more than a hired, unprincipled lawyer whose only job is to justify any crimes of your animal instincts before the court of conscience. Your vaunted confidence is nothing more than a fragile house of cards that will crumble at the first gust of wind if you don't understand who's really holding the cards in this game. We begin our deep, merciless dive into the shadow side of every choice you make. Insight 1: Rationalizing madness. Imagine a man who returns time and again to a woman who has repeatedly destroyed his life and his psyche. All his friends are horrified. His own cold logic screams, "Stop, she'll destroy you completely." But his primal emotions crave another devastating dopamine rush. And then his mind does something truly terrifying: it invents a coherent, logical reason for this self-destruction. It whispers, "She's changed, I'm the only one who can help her, no one else will ever understand me the way she does." This is the darkest side of your intellect. It works against your future, creating beautiful, poetic fairy tales to justify your precipitous descent. We are not rational beings. We are beings who can rationalize our most insane addictions. Your internal communication with yourself turns into endless, 24/7 propaganda. You lie to yourself so masterfully and professionally that you eventually begin to sincerely believe your own lies, just to avoid acknowledging the terrible fact: you are controlled by an ancient, always hungry, and insatiable instinct. Insight 2: The dictatorship of the first impulse. Modern research shows that your brain makes the final decision hundreds of milliseconds before you even have time to realize it. You think you're choosing, but in reality, you're simply post factum confirming the verdict of your subcortex. In relationships, this manifests as that instant, inexplicable attraction that leaves you weak in the knees. Your mind hasn't yet had time to evaluate a person's intelligence, character, or reliability, but your limbic system has already delivered its verdict: yes. We need her at any cost. The rest of your interactions are spent simply seeking confirmation that this random choice was brilliant. You masterfully ignore giant, red flags, because your logic is the obedient slave of your passion. It obediently and quickly paints over any cracks in your perception of reality. We cowardly call this intuition or the call of the heart, just to avoid calling it by its proper name: a complete loss of control. We are mortally afraid to admit that our internal, super-powerful processor is simply a cheap servant of our most primitive biological needs. Insight 3: The illusion of moral superiority. You often choose the path of the so-called right and good person not out of logical considerations, but out of a deep, clinging fear of social rejection. Your mind helpfully paints you a picture: I'm acting nobly and selflessly, but your true emotions at that moment simply want to avoid the pain of loneliness. You sacrifice your own interests for others, and then for years you wonder why a toxic, black emptiness grows and pulsates within you. You constantly confuse your logic with simple cowardice. You call your fear of taking risks and changing your life a deep and measured risk analysis. You transform your chronic passivity into a lofty philosophy of wise patience. This is the greatest betrayal of your own potential. Over time, your mind turns into a cunning jailer, masterfully convincing you that the cold walls of your cramped cell are actually your impenetrable and safe fortress. Insight 4, the paradox of attraction in conflict. Consider why we are so irresistibly drawn to those who make us suffer the most. At such moments, logic hysterically screams, "Run, save yourself." But your emotions see in this pain a familiar, almost native rhythm from distant childhood. Your brain is inexorably tied to old, even the most destructive, habits. For it, predictable, familiar suffering always seems safer and more comfortable than a completely unknown and frightening joy. And this is where logic plays its most vile and insidious trick. It convinces you that everything that's happening is a complex, sublime love, that it's inevitable fate. It turns your pathetic addiction into an epic drama worthy of the big screen, so you feel like a hero, not a victim. You get stuck in this vicious cycle for years because your thinking aggressively protects your suffering. It makes it an integral part of your identity. The phrase, "I am the one who knows how to suffer and wait," sounds grandiose, right? But in reality, it's simply a breakdown of a basic psychological survival mechanism. Insight 5, awakening the true sovereign. Your true inner strength and freedom begin only at the point where you find the courage to stop believing your own endless excuses. Imagine for a moment that you simply turn off the sound of this intrusive internal propaganda. You stop listening to explanations. You simply look silently at your specific actions. No, because. No, if only. No excuses. And then you will see the naked, unvarnished facts. You will see how you, with your own hands, give away your precious life energy to those who don't deserve it one iota. You will see that you fear true success far more than death itself. At this moment, your true confidence finds solid ground for the first time in your life. It no longer depends on how eloquently and convincingly you can lie to yourself. It now depends solely on your ability to see your inner darkness and not look away. Do you feel that strange, metallic bitterness in your mouth? This is the taste of real truth. It is completely devoid of the sugar of logical justifications. It is cold, harsh, and offers you no comfort. For years, you've been trying unsuccessfully to understand your irrational emotions with your logical mind. It's like trying to measure the temperature of a flame with a simple wooden ruler. These are instruments from completely different, non-intersecting worlds. To finally win this protracted internal war, you absolutely must stop choosing sides. Logic without emotion is a soulless, lifeless robot. Emotions without logic are a destructive, blind force of nature. But logic that is fully aware of its emotions is the state of a creator. Your main task from now on is not to try to suppress your feelings, but to once and for all deprive them of the decisive voice in writing the constitution of your life. Let them remain your advisors, poets, and musicians, but never your kings and judges. Start consciously catching those moments when your brain begins feverishly explaining your latest weakness. Catch it red-handed, like a thief. Tell him directly, "I see what you're doing right now. You're not seeking the truth. You're simply very afraid." This is the only psychology of real change that works. It's not replacing one comfortable thought with another, even more positive. It's a complete transcendence of the thought process itself, into the zone of direct observation. Your relationships with the world will become truly honest only when you acknowledge that you chose people to plug your inner holes, not out of some kind of high logic. Once you acknowledge this, those holes will finally begin to heal themselves. Your communication will become truly powerful and influential only when your words are based not on a childish desire to please, but on your conscious, adult will. Stop being an unpaid advocate for your own misery. Stop using your brilliant intellect to find reasons for your stagnation for years. The world around you never forgives those who cowardly hide behind a shield of logic, simply to avoid truly living. It demands of you the determination to walk straight into the fire of your fears, even if your mind is frantically calculating the flame's temperature. You are no longer a helpless victim of your inner conflict. From this moment on, you are its conscious witness. And it is in this detached witness that your only true freedom lies. Your brain will begin to function completely differently when you stop feeding it sweet lies. It will become as sharp as a surgeon's scalpel. It will transform into an instrument of great creation, not a tool of pathetic psychological defense. Do you feel this sudden, powerful surge of energy? This is your long-suppressed truth finally begging to be revealed. It no longer wants and cannot hide behind beautiful but empty words. Every serious decision you make must now pass through a strict filter. Is this being dictated by my ancient fear, masterfully disguised by logic, or is this my only true path? Be absolutely ruthless with your own justifications. Be extremely suspicious of your so-called common sense. Too often, it's simply a well-kept cemetery of your unfulfilled dreams and betrayed ideals. Your path to absolute inner clarity is now open. But remember, your old mind will always try to reassert its boundless power. It will whisper, "This video is too cynical, it's not about you, close it. Never trust it." This is its last, desperate attempt to keep you in your cozy, familiar cage, from which you've almost escaped. The dark side of every choice you make is now fully revealed to you. You no longer have any saving excuses. You have only one thing left, your total responsibility. The great victory over yourself begins not from the moment you make the right choice, but from the moment you finally recognize who exactly inside you is actually making it.